Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today's February 12th and I want to talk to you about seed starting asparagus indoors, talk to you about how you do it. It's pretty straightforward, and also talk about when you can actually harvest this from your garden, because most of the plants that you plant you harvest same year. Asparagus you really have to wait 2 to 4 years before it's ready to really be taken out of the ground, or when the spears come up you cut them back. And the reason for that is with asparagus you really want a great root system to establish in your asparagus bed. So if you remove the spears too early, they don't grow tall, and these are starting to flower like in a fern-like way. So you're basically taking the asparagus stalks away while the roots are still immature in the ground and they're not getting the energy that they need to develop. Now, because it's usually about a 3-year period before you plant, like if you order asparagus in a bag of asparagus crowns, those are usually 1-year-old plants. Put them in the ground, that's 1 year, then you wait a 2nd year, and then the 3rd year you harvest them. So it's a 3-year process. Now, if you're starting from seeds, it can be up to 4 years, because if I waited till April or May to put my asparagus seeds in, they can take a frost, they come up early, they come up in the cold, they don't mind cold weather. But if I started these from seeds right in my garden in April, May, it's going to take a while for them to germinate and look like this, and it might be the 4th year before I can harvest. So start them indoors, start them early. It's February 12th. I'm in Maryland Zone 7, and I started these on January 16th, so this is almost 4 weeks worth of growth. I got my seeds from Baker Creek Heirlooms, 2 different varieties. That's all I need. I have a lot of asparagus already out in my garden. To plant that, start with your seed starting mix. I put 3 or 4 seeds in each space. You don't need to just put one. This is how I kind of just follow nature. Asparagus seeds drop, they're kind of like a little berry, but inside there's sometimes more than one seed. At least that's my belief. So when they drop, you don't just get a single seed. It's 1 or 2 in the pod. And even if that's not true, I could be wrong. Some of the pods will drop and they'll be right next to each other. They're not going to over-compete with each other for space or anything like that. And plus, when you're seed starting, you don't just want to put in one seed, because if it doesn't come up, you're waiting around for nothing. So put in 2, 3, 4 asparagus seeds. I mix them in just like that. Get them down about 1/4 of an inch. And then I just pack it down, and they went under my grow lights. 4 weeks later, they look like this. And in about 4 weeks, when you look under here, you'll see that the roots are starting to come up or come out. And that's when you want to get them into the next size tray. You don't want the roots to get too root bound. You can see that they're starting to twist. It's not going to matter if they look like this at this point. But you can see the root systems the roots are coming out through the sides, down at the bottom. You also want to start feeding these half-strength fertilizer. I just fill up a cup. This is an 8-ounce cup. Make a circle with my finger, drop this in. You're keeping the depth almost at the same place. Press it in. And I've gently transplanted my asparagus. You don't want to break these up into single plants. Just put the whole thing in there. And then label it. I like to say when I transplanted it, so this was transplanted on 2/12 and it was started on 1/16. These can stay in here for several weeks, but at this point when they go into the bigger cup, you have to start feeding them. So that's when I give them a half-strength liquid fertilizer. You don't have to do it. Less is usually better for most of your indoor plants, because you don't get rain that washes out the excess water-soluble fertilizer. You don't have a lot of soil life in here. That's why I use processed fertilizers instead of organic fertilizers, because organic fertilizers often have to be broken down by soil life. So I do use a chemical fertilizer or processed product to feed my indoor plants. This is how you can set up asparagus. Start it really, let's say it can go out March 1st, April 1st, somewhere between there. Well, let's go with April 1st. March can be a little bit cold in here. So I'm in Maryland Zone 7. I started at mid-January, mid-February is 4 weeks, mid-March is 8 weeks, and it'll go out mid-April. So I can start this really 12 weeks before it's going to go outside, and I'll have nice healthy asparagus transplants to put into my asparagus bed. Hope this gives you some idea of how you can start asparagus indoors. And again, I ordered my seeds. Sometimes they're hard to find at the stores, but I ordered mine from Baker Creek, and I ordered 2 varieties. Please check out my blog at www.therusticgarden.blogspot.com, and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.